Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final night of GiantBomb.com's E3 2017 coverage. The show is over. It's in the books. We're finished for the show, anyway. But we're here, ready for another night of action. I'm Jeff Gerstmann. I'm joined by this couch of people. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
We got Jeff Bakalar from CNET.com.
Hello, sir. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Taking time out of your technology schedule.
There's a lot of refrigerators here at E3.
Absolutely.
They're all important.
You've got to cover all of them.
And cover them I will.
How's the smart home scene at E3?
A lot of LEDs.
People turning the lights on and off with the phone.
Smart bulbs. Alexa is the product of the show at E3 2017.
Jeff Bakalar and Ben Pack. Look at a Pack's back duo kind of.
Oh, the Pack's.
Yeah.
The backpack?
Yeah, the backpack.
The backpack.
The backpack.
Backpack's better than pack.
When you guys start
I think so.
when you guys start a podcast, you could have like the people that listen to the show are the backpack.
Or the backpackers.
The backpackers.
Yeah.
I don't want that
Once
one.
they eventually break off and do a Patreon, of course.
Yeah.
When you guys like wise up.
Standard procedure.
I'll probably be my third or fourth Patreon at that point.
Yeah.
By then.
You got to get a first couple under.
Your first one's
practice
a starter
Patreon.
Patreon. When that one fails
This is a
out.
Patreon, so I can take time off to figure out how to run a proper Patreon campaign.
Yeah.
A Patreon for a Patreon, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Dan Reichert's here.
That's me.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing all right. You keeping your beer cold.
Is that? I've never actually understood what koozies are supposed to do. Is it just like a
Keep your
hole?
hand warm.
It's to keep
I thought it was like a friction thing so you don't drop it.
That might be part of it.
That's
I think
part of
it wears many hats.
Yeah, I
does?
think it does a lot
Serves
of
many
things.
purposes.
Yeah.
I'm not
Shows
big
off
on
that
it.
you're a super gamer.
And also,
Yeah, that's why I want to brag.
You're not
Do you
big on
want a
it.
cold, wet hand?
I'm fine with that.
More
Well,
than
then
anything.
I've never.
Wait,
You should
what are
take off your
talking
koozie
about?
then.
I've never held a beer and been uncomfortable.
Well,
that can't be true.
you're uncomfortable because you got this one has a cape.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why.
And it's got Gamer E3 here,
Yeah.
a different size Gamer E3 here, and see if you can read it.
Oh, that says I regret nothing at the bottom.
Never be game over.
Yeah.
Although it's never say game
screwed
over.
up.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Oh, I didn't know.
It's on the
that.
bottom,
they got it
yeah.
wrong.
They really covered all bases with this thing.
Yeah, it says mistakes were made at the
Pretty
bottom.
much, yeah. It says I went to E3 and all I did was waste money on trash.
Yes.
Says, turns out this isn't getting expensed.
Yeah, that's right.
Why would they put that on a
Expenses
koozie?
got denied. Isn't that weird?
That's very specific.
Yeah. Weird.
Brad Shoemaker's
Hi.
here. How you feeling down there?
I could breathe through my nose.
Weird. All
It's very
right.
new for
Just
me.
in time.
It's very new for me as of like 5 minutes ago.
I
forgot what it was like to breathe
E3's
air.
over, and maybe it was just an allergy.
Really enjoying it.
Maybe you just have a newfound allergy to E3.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Feeling good?
Breathing is good.
Yeah. Breathing is good. I do it every day. Well, almost every day. Jason Estrecher's here.
I breathe so much, like I forgot that I did.
Yeah.
I just.
No, that's probably.
It just comes natural.
It's almost like you do it without even knowing it.
Now it's all you can think about, right?
Yep.
Think about breathing. Think about it.
Fuck. How do I
hard.
do this again?
And then you're afraid if you stop thinking about it.
Yeah, then you die. That's how most people die.
Guys, what do I do?
Forgetting to breathe?
Yeah.
So old that you
When
forget.
somebody points out that
Yeah.
you're breathing.
In
yeah,
that mortality
The
pie
mind
chart,
goes
it's
first,
like
the breathing.
oh,
Yeah. That's the
Yep.
whole thing. Jason,
Yo.
you've been out kind of checking out games here and there in bits
Here
and
and
pieces
there.
over the course of the show, but
Yeah.
you've been kind of behind the decks, as it were.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
But made sure to get out and see some of the stuff in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, what's in the wheelhouse?
Yo, there's a new Monster Hunter coming, and it's not that that double cross like we
Yeah.
initially thought. Yeah,
You got double crossed on double cross because Capcom was like, we have no plans to bring that over here.
and I'm like, fucking A, guys. And then, yeah, they announced a whole new Monster Hunter. It's a whole new jam on big boy consoles,
whole
with
new
big boy
world.
controllers, big boy graphics,
Uh-huh.
and like a really cool like accessibility layer. Like, the internals of that game don't seem to be changing that much, but it seems westernized to a point where there's like damage numbers when you're doing damage to it.
Wait, is that new?
That's totally new.
Really?
Yeah, that's absolutely new.
Huh.
Also, like, there's a handler kind of chatting in your ear the entire time, and their voice actors.
it's got
Stay
voice
frosty
acting.
over and over
Yeah,
again.
she
Who's
does
that?
a lot.
We're on Oscar Mike to the monster.
The Monster Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go back to home base and change out your gear on the fly. So when you're on a hunt, that's a big deal. But I think one of the bigger things is all the environmental like interaction that you can do now. That seems really cool. Previous games you can kind of climb up walls and jump off wildly and hope that you hit something, but game seems more geared towards that. And there'll be stuff on the ceiling that you can shoot down and have it land on the monster.
Okay.
The initial, we just got a theater demo. We didn't get hands-on at all, but
A very funny theater demo.
That guy had
boy.
material.
Yeah,
it was like the
that-
warm-up comic if you went to go see like Fallon or
Yeah,
something.
he was
Was
really.
it Mr. Caffeine?
It was kind of that
At
tone.
high energy, but it was very like.
I think he was. I think he was a Capcom Japan guy because he
Yeah,
kept talking
he
about
was.
living in Osaka.
Yeah,
But still, he was like, "Oh, I don't think you're supposed to be running from the monster."
Yeah, it's called Monster Hunter, not Monster Runner Array.
Or the T-Rex would eat a thing like, oh, my wife wishes I had that good at table manners. A lot of that.
Wow.
That shit was
I would download a mobile game called Monster Runner, though. I mean, honestly.
Yeah,
Monster
I'm
Clicker?
sure there is. Yeah.
Sure, I would click on monsters. Who
I
hasn't?
know.
Was it just me or the character has like a shit-eating grin on his face the whole time? Do you notice that in the
He
press
seemed kind
conference?
of wacky when he was running
His
away.
run was very
Yeah.
cartoonish.
Right? What is
Yeah.
that about?
Could you always
the
eat and
presenter?
walk at the same time?
Yeah, you kind of slow down to a.
Okay, because they showed him taking out a big meat thing and like
Yeah.
walking and yeah.
It seems like all the staples are there, all the items and stuff, and the weapon sets. There's nothing new there, but also there's no loading screens between areas, so it's one big open area.
Right. I feel
you
like
can
that was
fast
one of the
travel
things,
to like zip
early
to
on
other
Monster
areas.
Hunter put me off of it. It was just like these tiny areas don't look that great to begin with. Like
Yeah.
why are they cut off into these zones? Like,
It's
just a weird
it's
thing.
looking great now. Like it looks like it belongs on next gen console.
It looked nice.
Yeah.
Those monsters
Great
looked really
action,
cool
great
too.
animation and stuff.
I like the design, like when they would like inhale and the thing would
Oh,
come
yeah.
up, and that was pretty cool.
The Great Jagus.
And they're having the monsters like fight each other.
Yeah, I was going to ask
well.
if they've leaned into that food chain hierarchy stuff so much because there was like
It's never been like it may have like kind of behind the scenes, but they never leaned into it like that. But now it's just like they've got three of these like King Kong sized monsters just fucking duking it out. And you're just kind of sitting in the
Yeah.
background going, holy shit.
But he was literally talking about like, okay, this one is a predator of this one,
Yeah.
and this one is a predator of that one, and like so that one will eat this one, but then if this one shows up, it'll eat both of them, like that kind of
Right,
thing. It was kind of cool.
But there's a bunch of other accessibility things like you've got like a weapon wheel, not a weapon wheel, but like an item wheel that you pull up this time. So you can pull a trigger or whatever, and then you select with the right stick, what you want to use. So lots of enhancements on that front, but it does seem like Monster Hunter at its core. Some of the tonal stuff, I don't know. Like I said, westernized before. I don't know. I didn't get really any of the goofiness that I've experienced in previous Monster Hunters. So
He was
still
putting
have, like-
armor on that cat.
I was
though.
gonna say,
Yeah.
there's still cats in it and all that sort of stuff.
what the fuck's goofy about that? You got a cat pal out there, man. You got to fucking make sure he's equipped.
It's rough. It's rough.
Yeah, they didn't show any palicos or anything during the stage presentation, so I was naturally a little worried about that. But in the demo we got, sure enough, you got a little cat buddy.
It made
And,
me excited to check it out.
Yeah.
I've
Good,
never played
good.
a Monster Hunter, but this was like, okay, after playing why can I never remember the name of this game that
God
I'm playing?
Eater.
It's so good.
God
It's-
Eater.
No, it's the not Zelda that came up before
Horizon
Zelda.
Zero Dawn.
I always want to call it Wildlands, but that's
Same thing,
That's
same
a
thing.
completely
Totally
different
same
game.
thing.
After playing that and kind of getting the idea of like, hey, some of this is Monster Hunter-ish, it made me open to the idea
Oh yeah,
of
they
playing Monster
had a
Hunter.
lot of sequences where you're like hiding in bushes, and that's something that you never really did that much. And
Are you talking about like with the Horizon stuff, like the breaking off specific parts of the thing, like
and
I'm going to aim at the
being able
tail
to
to
set
get
a
this
trap,
thing.
and then
yeah.
like there was a lot of like throw a rock over here to get this big dinosaur to come over here in
using
the
sound
Monster Hunter
cues
demo.
Yep.
and like
That-
cycling
now-
between traps with the D-pad, and there's that HUD thing there.
Now imagine if you never had any idea how to do any of that, and the game never told you any of it. That's Monster Hunter.
Yeah,
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the handler was really literally holding your hand over your piece for the most part. Lots of chatter. That
I
was weird.
think that game could use a little more guidance.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I can see
Yeah,
why a
it's been
purist might be put off by that, but like
True.
those games are impenetrable.
Yep.
Well, they want to reach a wider audience, right? And I just don't think the current form of Monster Hunter is ever going to do that here. Obviously, it's big in Japan. But
Yeah, they're definitely doing some smart stuff as far as that's concerned. And also, you can like shoot up a flare if you want to, call in like real live people into your game instead
Okay.
of having to start at the hub all at the same time. So
yeah. Hey,
yeah, doing some more stuff. I'm a little excited.
Yeah, cool.
Little excited.
Cool. Ben, what'd you get around to?
Went and played some Marvel versus Capcom Infinite.
Yeah.
that game's pretty good.
Okay, all right. That's not what I was expecting to hear.
Yeah,
based on,
that's not what I was expecting to say.
Yeah.
Because, the only things I've seen from that game, aside from very brief gameplay demos, are the art, which is a little not great.
In action though, that game's pretty
But
good.
just watching the characters move around, and then it feels good. It feels not really like Marvel 3 too much, because instead of traditionally in Marvel games, you hit your tag button and your dude comes in and does a move, like shoots a gun or throws a fireball and then jumps out. But in this one, they just come in and you can be doing a super and then you hit your tag button or your assist button, and then your other player will just come in and you can start controlling them on the fly.
Yeah.
So you can
continue a combo.
You can launch them into the air, start to hit them again, tag your other dude in to finish the aerial combo. And then go into super. It seemed like there was a really high ceiling for combo creativity, which is what those games are really all about.
Sure.
I was initially worried that it's just 2-on-2 now. So are we going to get those same kind of weird mix-ups and matchups that we had in previous games and creativity? But it seems like
especially
between
with
the
the
gem
gems.
system and being able to call in your partner at any point, it seems pretty rad.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it's fun. They've announced, that they're doing season pass stuff.
Yep.
So they'll expand this roster eventually for. Have they said if it's real money or fight money or any of that?
I'm sure you buy a season pass, you can probably. I don't know. I don't know.
So
I haven't seen anything
one
about
way or
currencies.
another, we'll get some more characters in there, which will be
Is this
exciting.
just a straight up $60 game?
Yeah.
I don't know why I keep getting the idea that it's some weird not free to play release,
Yeah.
some free to play or staged thing.
no,
It's just a game.
Because maybe how it looks and the business model around it.
Maybe.
Just a game.
And then played a little bit of DBZ after that.
I watched some of that. That looks sharp.
It is incredibly fun to play. It feels like you're controlling Dragon Ball Z characters. It's like you've got all these different buttons that do different kind of set things. Like there's a chase down button that you can use to just zip to the other opponent.
Or teleport behind them as well.
Yeah, you can do the instant transmissions to teleport around. Every character kind of has an overhead, so it felt really good to fight with, and it felt more like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 than Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite to a degree.
Did it feel like an ARC game? Does it have that many systems and crazy stuff, or is it are they trying to make something that's maybe a little more?
I think it did, because it's still got that 3-button light, medium, heavy, and then a special attack.
Yeah.
But I mean, I
But
don't
it
want to
didn't
say it
have
ends there.
a bunch of different. There aren't 3 different kinds of Roman cancel, or just defending, or blitz blocking, or stuff like that.
And a lot of the hits seem to carry weight.
Yes.
As well. In a lot of Guilty Gear games, the ARC games, you're just frantically flying through stuff.
Right.
It seems really fluid, but at the same time,
This is more like knock a motherfucker down.
you knock a motherfucker down.
It's still
You
like a
kick them
60-hit combo because your character goes like ba-da-da-da-da and then launches them.
Yeah.
But it's a different kind of 60-hit combo. Yeah. You're not actually hitting them 60 times.
It's a really good feeling and looking game.
Yeah.
Looks really neat.
Yeah.
I was hoping to have seen it, but it did not work out in
got
my
you.
favor.
Jason knew how to get me.
some dudes.
Okay. Jeff Bakalar, you've been around the show this whole time.
Yeah.
What's been standing out to you?
What's been I still kind of don't know what to think of Days Gone. Have you guys talked about that?
A little bit. Alex saw some of it and basically came back and said that game doesn't look very good.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like there is a great desire to make their zombies this brand of zombie that you've never heard of before, and I'm just not buying
they fast?
it. Well, I feel like the thing they're leaning into the most is they're alive. They're not The Walking Dead. They need need protein and carbs and calories the way you do. They just are a little aggressive about
We're
it.
The Walking
That sounds like
Dead?
that kind of sounds like that zombie rights group from Dead Rising.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah. So I just can't really make heads or tails of that. I'm still so bitter. I wanted so much more of a motorcycle club to be a part of this game.
Like the Lost and Damned, but occasional zombies.
Yeah, and for me, that's all, obviously out the window. But, yeah, and also, I don't know when that game is really going to show up either.
Yeah, no,
so.
that's 2020 at this
That's a
point.
2020.
Yeah, it's a 2020. Yeah, that's maybe one of the weird things about, or, one of the crazy things about Sony was like there was a lot of next years. There was a lot of
Not a lot of numbers in
yeah,
that.
not a whole
in that
lot
conference,
of numbers. Maybe that went around a little bit.
Sure.
Definitely saw some of that everywhere we looked.
Definitely.
But yeah, anything else jump out at you?
I got to play. We talked a little bit before Skull and Bones. Didn't get to play as many games as I want to, but that one I had was probably the moment of my most genuine fun.
Cool.
In the show, getting to do a couple of 5-on-5 multiplayer matches, stealing loot and escaping.
Did it feel like you were like blocking for the other ships and just like
No,
working
this
together?
is
I mean,
just-
obviously, like E3 show floor is just like throw people in.
Yeah, this is
gonna
just
be whatever.
it's kind of just chaos.
Okay.
And I thought it was just funny that like you can spawn again, you can
Yeah.
respawn. Like the ship's back. You're gonna just respawn
The
and
subtitles of the game.
And you
Skull and
basically-
Bones colon the ship's back.
the ship's back. And the best part is like, oh, you just gotta sail over there real quick. Come on, men, get back to the battlefield.
Do they sing while they?
They
sail?
do.
Okay, good.
They
All right,
chant.
good.
They have.
Great.
I wonder. I didn't get into it, but there's different classes of ships. You get like a bruiser, a marksman, and I would imagine, or maybe like each gang. I think there were raiders.
okay, yeah.
And I don't know,
Maybe they would just have
plankmen.
their own songs.
They all have their own, ballads, and you can buy the soundtrack.
Those are
for it.
cosmetics. You can
Unlockable
buy
shanties.
unlockable
Oh, I would
shanties
love
and,
that.
find all the
orange
collectibles to
shanty.
get them all.
There is something kind of rad how you hit the triangle or Y button and you sort of just like warp up to the guy, the one like flanky sort of like pirate guy who like, all right, you have to just keep an eye on what's going on. You can just jump up to his point of view.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's something there. I just hope there is more there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pirates are fucking hot this year.
Yeah.
Between that and
Yeah,
Sea of
that's
Thieves.
And Skulls.
weird. Yeah.
Skulls.
Skulls, man.
Skulls very
Skull.
big this
Skulls.
year. And then Pirates. Weirdly enough, big. Dan, what did you get out and see?
Saw a few things. Started the day with God of War, which was this hour-long meeting in which they just showed the trailer.
I thought that was kind of where Corey like talked over the
Yeah,
trailer.
so that's the thing. Corey basically narrated the trailer, and then it was just a long discussion with him. It was me and like two other journalists just asking questions.
It was like every Sony meeting at this thing was
Yeah,
just
Spider-Man was
just
that.
the press conference demonstration with like some Q&A at the end.
This was even less than the Spider-Man one because the Spider-Man one had some.
They added like a 30-second
Yeah, like
thing
a
in the middle or
variation,
something
yeah.
at least.
This was just the trailer, which looks awesome, obviously, but learned a few things about it that you wouldn't glean from the trailer. So the whole game is like one tracking shot. They don't ever cut cameras or anything, and Corey said that like brought up a bunch of problems that they didn't think about, but like it just has to be this constant streaming thing. Sometimes the camera will kind of pan around during story things, but it is just one big ass tracking shot.
Not even into cutscenes or anything?
No, nothing. He said that at no point, like from beginning to end, it's just one shot, which
Wow.
is, I think is a pretty cool idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can be neat.
Yeah. Also, there is no QTEs in the traditional like God of War sense, where the circle.
It's me, the god of sense.
You probably shouldn't buy that.
That's
Yeah.
embargoed. We can't talk about him
Skip
yet.
that. Okay. All right,
Yeah.
fair enough.
But so yeah, you want to have the circle pop up, when you're fighting something, and when you do like a big boss thing, when you're hacking off its jaw or pulling it into a thing. He said the most that it'll do is like you'll mash buttons to kind of like do the Kratos struggle or whatever, but it sounds like it's just random buttons, so it's never going to be triangle, circle, X, which I like because so much cool shit was happening on screen during God of War, like during those moments.
Right.
But I felt like I was never able to sit back and watch them because I was always just like waiting for the triangle or the square to pop up.
Yeah.
So it sounds like they're doing the big crazy things, but you're just going to hit buttons and you get to sit back and watch the thing.
Yeah.
They said the sun, there's like a sun button.
Yes.
And
Right,
it's like context sensitive, so it's like, if you see like some language that Kratos doesn't understand, if you look at that and press the sun button.
I can't read.
Interpret that for me.
Read, boy. So angry.
Yeah, you can press the button, and as you find stuff, the kid will learn new languages in different areas.
Because he's the only one that knows the language.
He's
right?
the only one that learns how to read.
Has the
Right.
capacity
Yeah.
for
It's like all this time,
knowledge.
never
He's
just
weak.
sat down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some fucking god Kratos is.
Yeah, well.
But if it's like a big,
Can't
like,
even read.
if it's like a lumbering, or let's say it's a big guy with a shield or something, if you press the
Yeah.
sun button while looking at him, the sun will jump up on his back and he'll be like this, and he can't guard with the shield then. So, or if it's a bigger thing, he'll shoot a few arrows if you jam on the sun button.
Yeah.
So that's how that's gonna work. But it looks really goddamn good. Like when it's running, the graphics are incredible.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been interested in a God of War game in quite a while, actually, but this one in
I
particular.
want
I-
to jam on that
great.
sun button.
Yeah. I play all the God of Wars. I like all of them, but this is the most excited I've been about one since like 3.
Definitely.
But
Wasn't that the last? Wait.
There
was Ascension.
Okay,
There's
Ascension
3 after
barely
both
counts.
PSP games. I think Ghost of Sparta came out after 3. Not sure. Then there's the phone game, but it was like an old pre-Android phone game that I think is canon.
No, you're kidding.
Okay.
No, look it up.
Oh, you.
What happened in it? Was he angry?
I didn't actually play that one. It was a 2D side scroller.
Could you
I think it was like sprites and stuff.
call an 800 number
yeah.
to talk to
Remember that,
Kratos
now
or
you
anything?
mentioned
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Kratos would call you and you'd be like, "What's going on?" He'd be like, "I'm so pissed.
So angry.
All these
Kill
pop-ups.
these fucking people."
I went to Ubisoft as well, and I saw Far Cry and Transference. Far Cry is very Far Cry.
That looked. I watched you play that demo. That was as Far Cry as it could. Well, you flew a plane. That was new.
Yeah, the plane was cool, and you can switch to the bomber view so you can see what's down below.
I
you.
like that.
Which I was looking down, and I just saw cars, and they were
bombed
crazy
a bunch of
cold. I bombed them, and the guy was like, "Oh, those were civilians." So I just bombed from a
Seems
plane.
like it's way too easy to kill regular people.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. I went into that town, and there's just a bunch of people walking around, and my gun would lock to it when I aimed.
Right.
I was like, all right, I just shot everyone.
Yeah.
But it was totally just the Far Cry outpost thing. You kill the last guy, and it slows down. It's like, ugh. Camp gas station cleared or whatever.
Instead of
Camp gas station.
I
went there in 5th grade. Yeah.
I just started shooting. I couldn't die. They all look the same.
I
thing
saw
moving,
people.
I was scared.
Took
My
care
gun
of
stuck
it.
on him.
There's a
battleground
fishing
strategy,
mini game.
too.
I got attacked by a wolf while I was fishing, so I had to stop fishing and shoot the wolf and keep fishing.
Which companion did you have?
I had you can pick 3 companions. One is the pilot guy, one is the medic sniper lady, and one is a dog.
Right.
And they all do different things. So I had the pilot guy, so when I saw guys on rooftops, I could aim and then press the D-pad button, and he does a strafing run and shoots him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. I like Far Cry a lot, but this
Is
does
that a
feel
little
like Far Cry.
It
Metal
does.
Gear?
Metal Gear?
With Quiet or...
Yeah. The sniping,
I didn't do the sniper stuff.
Or I guess
Maybe.
I did the sniper stuff.
Yeah?
The problem with that is, so I sent her to go up on the water tower. I was like, you'll be able to pick off fools real easy up there.
That's where I go.
And the second I didn't, I accidentally hit the left D-pad and just basically marked a point across the map. She's like, okay, I gotta get down now. I was like, no, I meant you to shoot that guy. That
Your
was
plane taking off.
it's just
Gotta go.
it's gonna be inconvenient.
That game seems like it's going to live or die by the quality of the story.
Yeah.
Because it is so Far Cry.
And that's what got me so excited was
played
the
that game.
story. That sounded so cool. And
Yeah.
I didn't go to that thing that you guys went to where they really
Yeah.
drilled down to the tone.
They
where this is a
drilled.
serious
Yeah,
thing.
they did.
They drilled.
That sounded awesome when you guys were talking about it, but then it's from what I played, it's it's Far Cry in America.
That's I mean,
But I guess there is something darkly novel about it being in America and you're shooting Americans, right?
Yeah, but it felt almost kind of lighthearted. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go talk to the bartender about stuff, and she's gonna tell me where to go find this pilot guy. And
yeah, I'll be
Listen to
curious to
Nugent.
see how that
Downside.
game ends up looking when it comes
Yeah.
out, because the way they talked it up at a time, it certainly sounded like they were making a very different type
Going
of
for
game.
something else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if it's just going to be the exact Far Cry blueprint, but then hey, it's just the same goofball stuff. It's that's fine, whatever, but it should be. It has the potential to be so much more impactful and stuff if they do it right.
totally. And then Elijah Wood's game. I played that in VR.
What is that?
Yeah.
It's really lame.
Why is it lame? Because of the what's the
The writing, it's so you watch that video at the beginning where it's this is gonna put you inside the mind of someone with post-traumatic stress disorder, and we're gonna show
is
you
that what it
it's
is?
like to live in the brain of someone that has PTSD. And I was not knowing anything about the game because the trailer is just Elijah Wood looking at a camera and then everything freaks out.
Right.
I was like,
Right.
okay, cool. What is this gonna be like? Is this actually gonna be trying to simulate mental illness or something?
Yeah.
But it's the most fucking Steam early access horror game. You can you can switch between 2 periods, 1993 and 2000, I think 2003, by flipping light switches in the house.
That is
because
scary.
it's weird because I think
Real big gap there
Yeah.
too.
Whoa.
well I think I don't know
All
if
the
you're
tube TVs are gone, man.
I don't know if you're
These pieces
supposed to
are
be
flat.
What?
I don't know if you're supposed to be a Desert Storm guy that just came back because the '93 stuff is you've got a young son walking around and it seems like you just got divorced, so it's oh, go in here and there's an old photo of happier times with you and your wife and you're looking at it and the son is Dad, you're not supposed to be here, and then everything freaks out with video glitches and stuff, and then you go to 2003 and George Bush is on the TV
It's a
talking
VR
about
thing,
Iraq.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's VR, and then your son's all fucked up now and he's Dad, I was never a man enough for you, and Dad, I was never enough, and he's got a shotgun, he's looking at pictures of Dad, Dad, you were nothing, and he shoots you if you walk too
Why
close.
did you press my button?
It was not subtle, or it was going for something, and I really think it was missing the mark. But it was a lot of walking around like, oh, there's a key on the wall like that's shining, so now I'll go down to the basement and I'll look around there, and then the Jenga stack explodes and you're in a surreal thing where your son is mad at you, and it was
Elijah Wood the kid?
There's no Elijah Wood.
God, he's a kid.
You're not even in it?
Not yet.
I didn't see any Elijah Wood.
We'll see. Yeah.
It did not seem scary at all, especially after I played RE7 earlier this year in VR, and like different type of game, obviously, but VR can be super spooky, and this was going for it hard and not doing it at all. Like, it just looks bad, too. Like, the visual style is real bad. Yeah. So that was nothing. And they're also going to put that out non-VR, so I can't even imagine how...
Like, just here's the no impact, like zero impact.
I mean, it had zero in VR, so I can't imagine playing with a controller. So, who knows? It's a demo, but no.
All right. That's weird, but maybe not even weird in the way that I thought it would be weird. That's, yeah.
Nope.
How about you, Brad?
I went to Bethesda this morning.
Yeah.
Played that new Wolfenstein. Played the first level, which you play in a wheelchair.
Right.
Have they shown that? Like you?
No, we talked about it.
Knew about
it
somewhere, but there's not footage out there or whatever.
Not that I've
like
seen.
you wake up in a coma after the first game.
Right.
As you do.
I think some of that's in the trailer. A little bit.
Okay, and Nazis are attacking the hospital ship that you are on, and you climb into a wheelchair and grab a submachine gun. And then, like, you can look down and you can see yourself in the wheelchair, and you're literally, like, rolling yourself around with one hand while you're shooting Nazis. Yeah. There's some weird implications there, because, like, if you go downstairs, like, you just roll down and you can't get back up. And you have to, like, you have to find, like, there are a couple of spots, there's some, like, machinery moving around, and you have to, like, roll on there to get up to a spot, because you can't climb ladders and stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward, like, shooting, just sort of. You can do stealth kills from the wheelchair, which is kind of cool.
What does that look like?
It's pretty
like
standard. Just like kind of. There was one where you sort of like grab a guy and just like bash his face into your knee in the wheelchair. But it's really like the characters and the writing are what elevate that. Like it's a shooter.
Yeah.
It's a pretty standard shooter, but the blonde lady shows up at the end of that first level, from the train. Frau Engel, I think, from the first game. Without going into a lot of detail, they make the villains in that game real fucking assholes.
Yeah.
All right.
Like, making Nazis detestable, maybe not the lowest, not the highest bar to
double
clear.
Nazis now? Is it just like three times the swastika?
But that's like actually, that's kind of what I mean, It's like even for Nazis, like it's like, man, fuck these people.
They found new ways.
Like I am looking forward to being BJ and fucking these guys up again. Like it looks pretty awesome. Cool.
I thought she got like her face ripped off, right, or something.
Maybe it's a different blonde lady. It's probably like, a lot of blonde ladies.
That's her jaw. Okay. Her jaw got ripped.
Oh yeah, her face does look a little mangled. Actually.
Yeah, and at the end she's like, "Oh, we got it. It's
like
back.
her
Nazi doctors."
Not to give a ton away, but like her daughter is there, and her daughter is clearly not into this Nazi business, but she is like forcing her to be in some really nasty ways. Like it's some messed up stuff. Like that game looks pretty awesome. Yeah, and I think it's on the Doom engine now, like it Tech 6 or whatever. Really? So I was on the PC, so of course it looked and ran great, but like that seems like
that game didn't run super well on PC. I remember.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's
really.
I don't remember.
Maybe I played it later
because
I remember maybe they patched something because I played a lot on PC and it was pretty good.
It was alright.
Yeah.
Cool.
I checked out their VR stuff also.
Right.
Played that Doom VFR.
What is that?
It's a Doom shooting gallery. But like seemed like kind of a good one. There's two ways to move. It's weird. There's a teleport. It's a Vive game, or at least they're showing on the Vive. If you hold the middle of the touch disc thing, you get the teleport little arc thing.
Right.
But if you I think if you tap around the edges, you can move in the cardinal directions. It's almost like you have like a little jetpack or something. So it's like you can teleport around, but you can also just go like kind of like this,
Right.
So you're sort of like juking around, like dodging projectiles coming at you and stuff. Like at the end of like 5 minutes or whatever that I had with it, I was like actually felt like I was kind of getting pretty nimble with it and like dodging around, and it was kind of cool. Also, you telefrag to glory kill. Like when a guy goes into glory kill status, you like aim the teleport on him, and then you like zip to him and mess him up.
How does that stuff look up close?
It looks fine. It didn't look like amazing. It just looked like a decent VR experience. Like you've got all the weapons to start, at least in this demo, and you just kind of flick through them on the other touchpad. Like it was fine. Like
cool.
Not mind blowing, but
yeah, that's kind of how it looked from the trailer. It's like, okay, well they're turning Doom into kind of a shooting gallery sort of thing. Like it might be all right. But
pretty sure the level I played was straight out of the original game, so I don't even know if they're doing new levels for it or if it's just
like you play a different character. Do they get into that at all?
You go through like a 10-second intro of like, you're here, and go get in that suit.
Is it as effective as the opening to Doom?
No, not at all. Okay. Like it was super like teleport to the suit and you immediately just put it on and go. I played Fallout VR.
Yeah. I've not heard great things about this other VR stuff.
I was running out of time in my demo, so they really whipped me through Fallout and Skyrim VR like way faster than I could grapple with all the shit that was being thrown at me. But there's a lot to take in with that Fallout VR stuff. Like, it didn't help that like 8 ghouls rushed me the second I got in because the controls are super confusing. Like the Pip-Boy like is just always there. When you hold your left hand up, it's always just there, and that's how you. Like it is the Pip-Boy. It's the exact same interface, but you like swipe the disc to go through the pages and stuff.
Do you have to like turn your wrist like
you have to. You physically. Well, or you're holding the thing, you know. But yeah, you physically look down at the Pip-Boy to do all your inventory stuff. VATS is on the right side, so you can just kind of VATS it and then like aim at body parts and do that stuff. Like it seemed like it'd be manageable. It'd probably be fine once you got used to it, but I did not have time to get used to it. Like it was a lot to take in.
When you activate the VATS kills, does it do that camera cut where it's like close up and showing the guy getting blown up and stuff?
No, it stays like locked.
Okay, that seems like.
That would be a weird thing to take you out of that. And
just like, whoa.
It was. There was one spot where a ghoul got right in my face, and I went to VATS and had the sawed-off shotgun and shot him in the face, and just like his head exploded in slow motion. There's just like blood and eyeballs flying at my face. Like it was kind of cool.
Did you see any of the base stuff?
No, I literally had like less than 5 minutes with this thing. I had time to like shoot some ghouls, and then they took it off of me. And Skyrim looked a little janky on the PSVR.
Yeah.
And that interface was super early.
Did they have you playing it with a controller or with the moves?
No, with the moves.
Okay.
They do have.
I think it does have.
Yeah, so there's no controller support for Fallout VR, if I'm not mistaken, but there is for Skyrim. I think is what they said, which is weird. But like Skyrim didn't even have the Quest interface, like none of that stuff in. It was just real basic, like combat and teleport stuff.
Okay.
Like it was.
But is it like free movement or is it?
No, it was only teleport.
Okay, only teleport.
It was teleport and
hard turns.
Face buttons on the move to like do that interval turn business.
Seems like a
Skyrim
way to play a game as long as Skyrim.
I had like maybe 90 seconds with Skyrim. Like they literally were like, we got to get you out of here if you really want to see this real fast. Here you go. And like I killed like 2 guys and they took it off, so I had no time to get used to it. But it was we'll see.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, that's that stuff just seems weird. I don't know how that stuff will go.
Yeah,
it's cool that they're at least doing it. You know, like hey, let's make some big games and put VR in there and just to see how it pans out, see if people even want it, right?
Yeah,
makes some amount of sense.
People spend so many hours in those worlds, like it seems like a natural fit. So,
yeah.
Go deeper.
Jason, we haven't had you on for much of anything. Have you seen anything else that you want to talk about before we move on?
I don't know. Nothing really in my wheelhouse. But no, I saw a little bit of Project Cars 2. Of note is that they're like laser scanning the tracks, like not just the tracks themselves and like the surrounding stuff, but like the depth of the tracks.
Right.
And they've got dynamic water now. So when it starts raining, like it'll start puddling where it actually does on the real tracks and stuff. It's pretty fucking intense.
Yeah, I saw they did like a PowerPoint presentation for that game or something that I saw, and they showed a little clip of that. Of like, okay,
pretty amazing.
That's pretty neat.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I'm never gonna get into that game. It's way too sim for me, but like, man, that's some attention to detail.
Yeah.
And then over at Devolver, I played a real quick game, no pun intended. It's called Minute. M-I-N-I-T.
Oh, you did see that? Okay, good. I was hoping. I keep seeing people talk about that.
Really cool. Yeah, there's a bunch of people that have worked on like Nuclear Throne. There's some pedigree there, right? But it is I don't know if you played like was it 60-second hero or something like that? Half-minute hero. There we go. So you've got 60 seconds to save the world, and the gameplay is more Zelda than anything. So like that top-down, it's a 210. They call it like a 1-bit game, but you go like down to the beach, you find your sword, and they're like, time's up. So your day starts over or whatever. Yeah. Then you go west and you kill a couple crabs, and then you find a shopkeeper, and he's like, oh yeah, you killed those crabs, here's an item. And you eventually progress more and more through the game. So every time that you die, every time that 60 seconds is up, you retain all of those items.
Right.
So you kind of know where to go. But it's really, it's bite-sized. Every bite's real good so far, like it plays well.
First 4 minutes of it are awesome.
Yeah, seriously. No, but I think I got to the end of the demo, I think. Anyway, yeah, you get to like a Devolver Digital like Airbus trailer at the end of it, and they just kind of showed quick clips of other worlds that you go to. But yeah, it's going to be, handful of bucks or whatever, and
cool.
Real neat. I like it.
Jeff, you see anything else that's like jumping out at you?
I think the best thing I've played all week is Odyssey. That game's fucking weird, man.
Yeah.
And
it really is.
It's so cool how weird it is.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody is resisting that at all. No. I think it's like the most welcome thing that's ever happened.
No one's going like, oh, they need to rein it back in.
Yeah, no one's like, oh, this is
why can't this be more like Super Mario 64?
There's no like
normal.
There's no
like
conservative Mario people out there.
Right.
Who are just like back to basics.
Well, Mario's always been super weird inherently, but like
this
is even by Mario standards like fucking crazy.
That game is batshit.
There's an escalation here.
Yeah,
for sure.
Things that got ramped up real quick.
Yeah,
it's genuinely super funny. Like I'm throwing my hat at a taxi cab, and then the taxi has a mustache, and it's so stupid and great.
And some of that stuff having like gameplay things attached to it.
Tons
like
of it
when you took like the little Moai statue thing.
Yeah, the sunglasses,
with the shades, and you know, like see the hidden platforms when you got the shades on, and take them off to move fast and hop on.
Or the bullet, you can bypass a bunch of platforms if you're a bullet bill flying past it, and the 2D stuff.
It's really neat.
They announced that 2-player mode today.
Right.
You can kind of control the hat.
Right.
Second player.
Yeah.
I heard they streamed some of the like actual T-Rex level.
Okay.
So there is a part where they showed the T-Rex, which is just a silly thing too, like this like realistically modeled T-Rex with a mustache running around. Like, what a silly thing.
It sounds like it's a game where it's like super easy to just like throw in prototype ideas like that, and they're like, let's try it. It's like, okay, let's keep it. Why not?
That was kind of their pitch.
That's how the 3D world, 3D land games are. Like there's such a mishmash of just like every level's got its own mechanics. You know, it's like you guys designed like 80 different games here.
Right.
It seems like more of that.
It's very ambitious, but in a really, really cool way. Like I'm super excited.
And it's
for
the
this.
first time since I think like the Galaxy games where I'm like, oh, this is such a major refresh.
Since Galaxy 2, I feel like this is the next like big real Mario game. Like I love 3D World and everything. But that was like a multiplayer thing with different like layout and everything.
Kind of getting the same thing.
It's sort of a different thing.
Yeah. And now it's just such a a breath of fresh air. It's like I can actually not wait to play this game for sure.
And the weird like lore stuff. Like a lot of people have been posting pictures of like, oh, so that suit is what Mario wore in this obscure ass like. Oh, Mario Picross, that's what he wore here. And Pauline being the mayor and everything. It's just
I really like it when Nintendo's goofy.
Yeah. And for like longtime Nintendo fans, like I super appreciate that attention to Mario's history and everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff seems super cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, we are gonna take a break, and thanks everyone for hanging out. The show's over.
Okay.
I can go
Let's get
home.
out
Now
of here.
finally you've had me for like a week.
Tomorrow.
I miss my family.
Yeah, me
Yes.
too. Yeah.
Okay.
Me too.
Yeah. So we'll just get another 20 or 30,000 guests through here tonight, and we'll have a good time. So stay tuned, and we'll be back soon with our next batch of guests.